Hey guys, so finally in this video I'm going to talk about my experience in Math 216 or Introductory to Differential Equations. So as a disclaimer, this video is only of my experience in summer 2017, so difficulty may vary from fall 2016 and winter 2017, as it is said that the course was made slightly easier after winter 2017, but I can't confirm nor deny that. However, I did have access to actual exams from 2016 and 2017, and I felt that when I was taking those exams, I was well prepared, and that the difficulty of those exams were only slightly more difficult, with exception to one or two which were a lot more difficult, but those are a separate story. But overall, I would say that summer 2017 was a difficulty of about 6, and fall and winter were about an 8 on a scale of 1 to 10 to give you an idea of the difference of the variation in difficulty level. So anyway, so continuing on the basic overview of the course. So my professor was Pat, and we had 2 exams. And please note that spring, fall, and winter all have 3 exams, and summer only has 2 because it is 1 week shorter than spring, so they have to cram it all in. But anyway, so for the midterm I got about 90%, and the average was 68, and final I got an 87, average 64, and according to Pat, this is expected. The average is expected to be in the 60s for any University of Michigan math course. So I guess that is one way to measure how the summer semester is compared to regular semesters. So for this course, we had 5 written homeworks, 5 lab assignments, and 6 web works, not including the first initial web work that was just introduction to web work. And for this course, I got an A+. Just as a tangent, for those of you who don't want to waste money on a textbook, I rented the same textbook from the Ugly, and it was in almost new condition, and it lasted me the entire semester, and I didn't have to spend a penny. So if you want to save a few bucks, I would suggest before the semester starts, try to get your hands on one of the books. There's about 2 in stock. But anyway, so for the professor, I had Pat, and he was helpful. He had plenty of office hours. He was fair, and he was pretty funny, so that helped with keeping the mood in the classroom pretty light. And he was excited about the material. And he himself says that he's the only one in the math department that likes teaching DiffEq, so that's really something that helps, I guess, his students learn. And he's also consistent, and what I mean by that is that he was told by the department to teach the course like they would during the fall and winter, and so before this summer, I guess, he usually made labs as a participation grade, but this summer he decided to make them into accuracy. And he also ensures that the average of the exams is in the 60s, which is what the department, again, expects all math exams averages to be. And it is also important to note that, like I said before, that exams are, for the summer semester, might be easier, because I heard that in fall 2016 they had Math Olympiad kids write those exams, which was definitely a lot harder, as you would expect. But however, we were told that our exams for summer were around the same difficulty level as regular semesters, and apparently the department attribute the lower semester averages to the fact that most kids have 3 or more other classes to focus on. But anyway, that is what they say, and I can't confirm or deny what they have changed and what they have not changed. But anyway, so for labs, it is all done in MATLAB. And don't worry if you don't know what MATLAB is or how to write code in the MATLAB. They actually teach you, and you catch on pretty quickly after a few practice labs. So the labs are divided into Part A and Part B. Part A is where you do exercises in pairs, and you have 2 pairs usually because you have 4 people in a group and you divide into 2 pairs. And you do the exercises for each pair in the labs section, or like your actual class time. And for Part B, it's more exercises, and you also have to write a lab report, and that is done at home outside of class. And my GSI was Gracie, and she was pretty good. And I would say as a tip is that get started early enough so you can ask questions to GSI and also clarify anything that you don't understand. So how I succeeded. So again, I had a great professor, and even though there was only one semester of practice exams to do, and that is from fall 2016, that is at least officially given to us. If you have any friends, that would be great. But there were 2 exams from winter 2017, but that was just all answer keys. So what I had to do was cover up the answers and do the problems, and then compare later. I also did the book problems, the conceptual ones at least, because they're said to be more challenging. And I also did written homework and web work, mostly by myself. So that allowed me to be familiarize myself with the thinking process and yada yada yada. And also, whenever my teammates or at least my classmates needed help or needed teaching, I would do so, and that also helped me be more familiar with the material. I also looked over and rewrote my notes so they're easy to read. I also went to office hours, and just as a reminder, do work when you can, never procrastinate. I literally spent about 5 hours, at least 5 hours, 5 to 6 hours every day in a library, so I had plenty of time to focus on this class. But then again, DiffyQ was my only class during the summer. So I would suggest that if you are taking DiffyQ during the spring or summer, you choose a another easier class if you must do 2 classes. Otherwise, I would say 1 class, just DiffyQ will be enough. So now that I have reached the end of the video, and I've talked about all my classes for spring and summer, and I thought that it would be best to summarize my experience for 2017 semesters during spring and summer. So there are pros to taking classes during spring and summer. One of them is smaller class size. Usually there are no more than 20-30 people. So it's much more individualized than large lecture halls. And also you get to know your professors more and they know you. And if you have any questions, they know exactly that you're the person who asked it, and then they will reach back to you relatively quickly. And you would have 1 or 2 classes total, so there's more time to focus on the more difficult classes. And difficulty may vary from the regular semesters. So if it's easier, obviously it's better for you. Some cons would be that there's less time because it's twice the pace, and so it's more crammed. So if you have 2 difficult classes, that is quite stressful. And also, again, the classes may vary in difficulty from the regular semesters. So that can also be a con in that, there's, again, you have half the time to learn the material, and you have, let's say, twice more work to do. So that is, again, something you must take into account when you're scheduling your classes for spring and summer. But otherwise, spring and summer is a great way to utilize your time if you can't find any internships or jobs, to get some classes out of the way, so regular semesters would be less stressful. But anyway, so this concludes my entire series on my first year at UM. I'm starting my sophomore year next week, actually, so hopefully in a few months I will be able to talk to you guys about my fall 2017 classes. And if you like this video and you found it helpful, please watch my other videos, and don't forget to click the subscribe button. Thank you very much, and have a good day.